stand up and let's be heard. No more sitting in the shadows. We're known for our winning ways, and not being the best, that just ain't for us. We're loud, we're proud, and we're unapologetic about it. So even when times are looking as dark as the black and blue we wear on our crest, we tell them that Goonies never say die. And when we're done shaking things up on the pitch, there's another shake coming. This is something that's been created by the people, for the people. This is everything and anything San Jose Earthquakes related. This is Aftershock. Vamos, San Jose.
All right, what's up, everyone? I'm by myself this week because Jacob was down in LA and couldn't make the game. I also actually attended the game this week, so we don't have the same format with reviews and everything as we usually do. I'm going to keep it a bit shorter this week. It's a little bit harder to review the game when you were actually there versus sitting down and watching the film. I had a great time, though. It was great to be back in the stadium, pretty much full stadium. Super great. I got there early for the the tailgate, and they had tech ball. They had all these events, DJ. People were eating. Everything felt like it was back to normal, especially after all this year and a half of COVID. It was really great to see friends and fellow Quakes fans. As far as the game, it was well, I mean, as a Quakes fan, I will say it was another day, but it's frustrating. It was very, very frustrating. We called for lineup changes and we said there needed to be a change. And the way we change it is we put Salinas and Wondolowski up top. I get in a Classico, maybe you want a bit more experience, some guys that have been around the block. But when you have someone like Cade Cowell, who clearly has been doing well for us, I don't know why you don't play him, give him some experience. He's been doing great. And he scored in his very few minutes, and it was a lovely goal. I was on the other side when he scored, but like even when I watched the replay, it was amazing. It was a great goal, and it came from Chofis, who I don't know why we put him out wide, because he kept tucking in, and it gave Marie a lot of space to go up because we had Marie at right back. But every time Marie got the ball, he'd dribble up a little bit, they press him, and then he'd have no wide option, and then we weren't utilizing Trophies. And then in the second half, we got him the ball a bit more, and it felt like every time he got it, either a shot on target or at least just a chance was created. It was frustrating to see Youngworth again. I don't think he played too poorly, at least from a live perspective, at least compared to usual. The back line as a whole was very disorganized, and I was able to I was on the side. I was in the standing section, and I was like right behind JT during the own goal and that whole half. And I just wanted to look at them when they were conceding. I wanted to see what they were saying to each other. And JT would yell at them and say, "You need to do this, that," but they didn't look too responsive. And credit to Flo, he did kind of organize things. I noticed through the game he would point and yell at people to press, which I really like to see. And after, I think it was the goal before the own goal, like the second goal, he kind of brought Ramadi and Elenice together, and maybe one other person, might have been Marie, and he was just kind of like saying, "We need to do this, we need to do this." And the next 10-ish minutes were pretty good. But yeah, it was rough. It was rough. It was rough. It was rough. And it's so frustrating. We didn't see much of the ball, and Salinas at left back, it isn't working. Or right back, it's just not working. He's too attacking. He helped us a lot, but the first goal, at least from the in-game perspective, like being in the stadium, I kind of put him at fault because he was running down the line and then he slowed down so early. And again, it's so easy for me to say, and he didn't press. He would get close to him, but like within like 6 feet, and then it allows a cross to get off, which then was turned in for a Chicharito goal. And that was a repeated theme throughout the game with him especially. And I feel like Ramadi and Judson, I really like that pairing being together, even with Ewald attacking it. But I really like those two being together because they press and they run through the ball and they won a lot of ball, it felt like. And they were making some good recovery runs. It was a little, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it was sad also. And it also could have just been where I was sitting. And I'd have to listen to it on the TV, but it really felt like the LA fans were at times louder or almost as loud as us. and there was just a very small section of them in like the top back, like I guess it'd be when the second half, it would have been the left corner. They were up in the second like nosebleeds of that section, but they were dancing, waving flags. They had chants going the whole game. I could hear everything they were saying, and then I would hear some like very disconnected, like one section of Quakes fans over there, one section of Quakes fans over here. I was by the bar, of course, so a lot of people were just drinking and hanging out there, which is fine. And then some, but I'm also somewhat close to the big drum, so there was a section of them there, but just like at times we really came together and we were doing things, but at other times there wasn't a lot to cheer for, so it was hard for us to get together. But the LA fans were so loud, and even after the game, every single LA Galaxy player went over to that away section and was applauding them. And I get they won, so they're in a bit better of a mood. But there were 6 LA players, if I remember correctly, who were doing fitness after, like most players do. But then they went around and the whole stadium, like every single seat, and they were taking photos and signing autographs for all the LA fans who stuck around. I stuck around to talk to some people, and I just like watching I really like watching warm ups and cooldowns just for I like the tactics of it, and I like to see what they're doing at that level. But it was really frustrating. But again, before the game was great, talking there was great. Earthquakes fans, I was talking to some of them around, frustrated, much like me. Um, we don't understand what's happening. We were joking. It was like misery loves company. That was the theme. It really felt like, and it just became we had to make ourselves entertained. Nothing beats a live game though. Watching the Earthquakes live is so much fun. Like I would go again. It even when we're losing, it's very frustrating. I was very frustrated for most of the game, but the atmosphere was so great. And before the game, but there's not much to talk about. I know we give Wando a hard time, but when like in the game, I will say they don't play him a lot. Like he was open a lot, and they don't play him to feet. And he makes a lot of like decent runs or starts to make runs and runs around and just isn't played. And both sides of the coin of that, he doesn't make the full runs, and he could make better runs at times. And then also his pressing is like very selective, but that could be a tactical thing. But a very common theme that was so frustrating is we don't like have guts. We don't take the ball, we don't churn, we don't attack, we don't take risk. It's very like play it out wide, nothing there, play it back. And I am a big fan of that. I am a very big fan of spread it out, win on offense, get as wide as possible, play the width. But then we don't try and play someone and churn and attack or challenge someone. We don't test anyone out. We don't have any creativity. We get it with trophies at times, but it's so frustrating with our midfield. We don't play through the middle. And there were so many times where I see like Alanis with the ball, and there was like giant gap because the midfielders were so spread out, and Wanda was just there to receive it, and Wanda wouldn't check, or Alanis wouldn't play him to feet, and it was just we wouldn't advance the attack. And then I'm just so confused with some of the subs we're making. Like I love to see that Kikanovic came on, but by the end of the game, I mean the whole game we usually just send it wide and then cross, but the last like 10ish minutes we were like knocking on the door and really doing it. We sub on a 6'4", 6'5", young athletic guy, and we put him on the wing when we're crossing the ball. Put him in the center. Keep Wando in the center. 100% agree with that. But put them both there. Have a target. Make multiple options. So many of the crosses, not only were they terrible, not really connecting to anyone, either they were too short or too far, but there wasn't any targets in there. No one was crashing the box. It was just so frustrating. It looked like we didn't want to win the ball. I'm glad I'm glad Jacob wasn't able to watch the game or there live, because I had front row seats to the cross that went under JT, bounced off Youngworth, and then went in, and then just I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. The looks on JT's face and Youngworth's face, they just looked like they couldn't believe it either. Jacob might have had cardiac arrest right there. But there's nothing much to talk about. It's just frustrating. We need change. We need to do something. It's the lineup I saw originally. We were playing with like 3 in the back, but it looked like we ended up playing a 4-2-3-1 again. I don't know. It's frustrating. Now we have, what is it, 2 goals in 7 games. It'd be 15 goals conceded in 2 games, 1 point out of a possible 18 or 21 now. It's the same theme every week. It's just frustration after frustration. It's hard to break down the game when we're not doing much. Like the first half, they were attacking on the side I was on, and I only saw that field of play like 3 times. I don't even know how to break it down. Like it's weird because it didn't look like we were doing as much of a man to man press, but our zonal marking wasn't there. We looked like we were having two game plans, or just like, I don't want to say we're extremely low IQ because these are professional players, and like if they were to play in any league I were to play in or anything, they would look like Messi. But it's just we were making silly elementary mistakes and just like easy fixes, it seems like, and they weren't being adjusted. And it's just so frustrating that it doesn't seem like anyone cares. Like obviously they care, they're losing, but it doesn't seem like they truly are looking to make change. And something needs to be done. But we're going to changing the format a little bit this week. No player reviews. We're not going to do fan questions this week. Once in about a week or two, we should be back to our normal schedule. But for this week, I know a lot of you may have seen the promos on the social media accounts. We got another interview. I got to do a interview with someone who was running down the wing. He got a lot of field time. Compared, especially like I've never seen anything like that. Probably I would say our most energetic player that day. Was in a great mood before and after. This is also NSFW, not safe for work. There was a bit of cursing in here. I had a on-field interview, and I'll give y'all a little hint before I show it. His first name starts with Paul. Y'all might be able to guess who it is now. And this interview is, it doesn't beat the Tommy interview, but I'm glad that we got to have another interview. So here's the interview with Paul.
I'd like to have a side note while we're at the bar. Drink responsibly. Sometimes it leads people to run onto the field. Sometimes you don't make the best decisions. Just make sure you're drinking responsibly. We're all having a great time after the 3-1 loss. We need to do a lot better though. Vamos San Jose. Alright, this is Aftershock live after the 3-1 ass whooping shot. But
Paul, get out there. Paul, get out there.
So why don't you just take us through everything that happened?
So I saw the Quicks losing, and I'm like, all right, bro, this is not going well for us. So I'm like, how do we make it better? I'm like, the only way I can do that is to just do some dumb shit. That's what I did.
So you ran
up to the field. I was like, whoa. I wish I would have, like, just went through some players, but I didn't. They were not there because they were scared of me. They got scared of me. They saw me coming to the field, and they're like, oh, hell no, I'm not trying to go against them. So then I got to the field, and then I'm here now, bro. What's up? Good.
So you're at the 18-yard line, and they start to escort you out. What are they saying to you?
They said, they were like, hey, you can't be doing this. I'm like, why not? We're fucking losing. Let's make this, like, better than it is.
So they escort you out, and you got free T-shirts for getting...
I did. No, this is before.
Oh, okay.
I just, like, sing my way into it. I got free T-shirts. Now I'm like, all right, this is like, you're my boys. And then I'm just like, all right, I gotta do this. I'm like, you went to the field, make it better because you fucked up. So I had to make it work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, once you got escorted out over, you can't really see it, but once you got escorted out, what did they say to you? Like, were you threatened with jail?
I don't want to jeopardize your job, but all I gotta say is that they were very kind to me and they were very understanding of what was going on. I'm like, hey man, I get it. I shouldn't have done this, but I did. Now I'm here and just be nice. I'm not being big about it. So just help me out. And then we're all in this together, man. We're all here for the Quicks. Yeah! Let's go!
That's Aftershock live with Party Paul. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.